Okay, so I've just come back on this live because the screen was darker for some people and lots of people were dropping in, drop back out, so I don't know whether maybe you could see what I was doing. So I'll start again by just explaining that today's live, we're going to be working on some elements from A Country View Embroidery Circle kit. And we're going to be working on some of these gorgeous 3D flowers. So the kit is enough on its own. The instructions are brilliant. You can follow the instructions. They are hand-drawn instructions. You've got a stitch guide. Can you see me now, Martha? Give us a little wave or a thumbs up. Hi! There we go. Hopefully your screen can catch me now. There we go. So we are going to work on this A Country View kit. The booklet on its own is perfect. You can download the PDF, you can get straight to work, and you'll know what you're doing. This is just an extra little bonus to show you so that you've always got that kind of bit of a backup if you want to view the stitches done in real time. So I'm just going to pop that to one side. We're going to work on these lovely pink flowers here, and I'm going to go into this little cup shape because that's what we're going to be making, and that's where it's going to sit. Okay, so I'm going to start again with what we did here. We're going to use some pink thread, and the pink thread within your kit or the pink thread you've got at home, and we're going to wrap around 2 fingers 20 times because we want to make a loop. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, and we want a thick loop like this. You're going to thread your needle on the opposite end, and we're going to stitch down here at the base of the flower, and that'll just pull. A little bit tricky, you're going to pull it into place there. And you're going to stitch back up. I'm going to zoom in so you can see. I'm stitching back up and leaving a little bit of a gap. I'm going to go through all of those loops. Back up. And then I'm going to stitch back down. I'm going to anchor these loops in place. And I'm going to do that another couple of times because I want to make sure that these are secure. But you can see there, just with that one stitch, I've got them in place. I'm going to go again. And again. You just want it to be nice and secure. Okay, I'm going to turn my hoop over. I'm going to knot this over at the back. So it's nice and secure. And that's all we're going to do for the pink flower in terms of stitching. There we go. So this is what we're going to end up with. These gorgeous tufted flowers. And this is what it looks like at the minute. Okay. So at this point, we're going to use the green thread that's in your kit, which I chose a variator thread because we're going to use different shades throughout your design. There's darker strands or darker elements of the strand, there's lighter ones, and you can see within the pattern, you can use dark against the light, and we can really kind of play around with the colours. You can see up here, using one strand, we've used some of the lighter colour and the dark colour. You're really going to play around with that variator thread. Now, so I don't have to open a whole new skein. I have got this one here, which is a variator thread as well, slightly different colour, but it won't matter. I'm going to use that just to show you how to finish off this flower. And we're going to be working to cover this cup shape here, and that's what's going to create this lovely bulk effect here, like the bulb effect here on the bottom. So I'm going to cut myself a length of this thread, and I'm going to use 4 strands of this thread. So in order to get the 4 out, I'm going to separate them just a little bit at the end, and I'm going to pull them out one at a time. 1, 2, 'You can see those lovely colours changing down the length of the thread. And that's 3 and 4. There we go. I'm going to give them each a little smooth to get rid of any of those twists. I want this length of thread to sit nice and smoothly, so we get a nice effect on the base of that flower. Now this live is live on Instagram now, but it will be saved. It will stay on my Instagram grid for a little while, but they will all land on my YouTube channel, which is where you will find them. If you are a subscriber of the Embroidery Circle, they will be put in the Embroidery Circle for ease. There we go. So I'm going to thread that needle through, and I'm going to do a quilter's knot at the end. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to hold and pinch the pink here, and we're going to work from side to side in a satin stitch close together all the way up until we've reached this height on the bulb. So I'm going to show you how. I'm going to start actually at the top here. And we're going to go across. We're going to move the pink just slightly to that side so we can see. We're going to go to the opposite corner. I'm going to let that thread land on top of the pink flower. I'm going to pull it in like that. We're going to come back to this side, and we're going to keep our stitches really close together. And back down the other side, stitching down into the line, into the marked line. I'm going to keep going all the way to the base. This very pretty flower. And you can just guide those lines so they sit next to each other. So you can see there, I'll just bring you down so you can see at this angle. I'm going to come back, I'm just going to keep moving. To the side like that. I'm just going to guide them to sit next to each other, but you can see you're getting a lovely raised flower bud. And we're going to keep going until all of this pink is covered. So as we can see, I'll show you the finished one. This is what we're working towards here. So we're going to keep going. I'll go a little bit quicker. And if you've chosen to split your green threads and not just have the dark like I did in the original one, like that, you can mix your colours. Or you might want to just cut your threads and see how it stitches. That's always a lovely way to do it as well. Get surprise colours coming through. Variated threads are beautiful. Good morning. Said that at the same time, didn't we? Here we are. I'm just working on the country view kit today, just to save that's an added bonus. You buy the kit and you can stitch it Anyway, you do not have to watch the live videos, you don't have to watch the repeats. This is just a little extra, just to cover some of the stitches within the kit and the PDF. And this is a part of my embroidery circle. And that's a monthly subscription kit or subscription PDF, or you can buy it as a one-off standalone. If you subscribe, you do save a little bit, and you do get access to the embroidery circle pages, which I write blogs. Last month I put in a free template, just a way of saying thank you for supporting my small business. So there we are. I think we're almost done. I'm just going to go over a couple of times at the bottom, just to make sure I've got it all covered. It's such a lovely pattern, isn't it? I do love going rogue on patterns. So you can see there, look at the depth. Oh, it's so pretty. I'm going to bring you back up here, because this is, look, it looks a bit like a light bulb actually, doesn't it? And this is what we want to end up with. Okay. Before I unthread my needle, I'm going to put the stem in place, and you can see here I have done a split stitch, and this is what is noted in the pattern. So this is how we do a split stitch. Before I start, I'm just going to smooth my thread, so I've got no twists in there. Okay, so I'm going to stitch back up towards. I'm then going to bring my needle up in the centre of that stitch and split it. That's how it gets its name. And then we're going to create the next stitch, and then I'm going to split it. If anybody knows a way to add live captions as I do these lives, I'd love to make these lives more accessible to everybody. I know that sometimes people might be watching them as they are feeding babies or sorting children out or have headphones on. So I want to be able to make it so that anybody can listen or read and like kind of take part in that way. So if anybody does know how to add captions, if there's a way to do that, please do let me know. Here we go. So this is what we do. We just keep going until we get to the bottom, and then I'm going to show you how to do the top of the pink flower. It's one of my favourite bits actually. So we're going to go, I think we can fit one more stitch in there. It's very tight, but I'm going to wiggle it in. I'm going to come at this angle here, and I'm going to pull it horizontally. There we go. Again, I'm going to turn it over, and we're going to knot off the green and give it a snip. Okay. The fun bit of the pink flower. Make sure that this is all tied in nice and tight so it doesn't come out. So, as we can see, oh, let me go this way. Let me zoom out. Okay, so it's quite long. We've made sure we've kept enough on there. We want to have a lovely fluffy end on there. So we're going to get some lovely sharp snips. And I like to imagine here, whenever you were younger, did anybody used to play with dolls, Barbie dolls, Cindy dolls, if you were an 80s girl like me? You used to cut the hair, didn't you? Sometimes you weren't allowed to. I wasn't really allowed to, but I mean, that feeling of snipping hair. And this is like snipping hair. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to cut the threads. Okay. Oh, look at that. Okay. Now these are a little bit long. As you can see here, it comes up just below this petal here. So I'm going to cut this a little bit shorter. And just to try and make sure they are, make a little comb, or you could use a little comb if you have a little comb. Okay, and I'm going to give it another little trim. And just little bits at a time, because you don't want to take too much off. We've all done that before, whether it be a fringe or a bob, and then we have regret. We don't want to have Too much on there. Okay, so as you can see again, I still think that's a little bit long. So I'm going to take a bit more off. I'm going to snip away. Okay. And as you can see there, it's not quite straight, it's come away on this side, so I'm just going to go in and we're just going to keep snipping away, little bits at a time, until we're happy with the length and we're happy with the edges. This is why you want to have nice sharp snips. This does create a little bit of fluff on our fabric. Don't worry about that, I'll show you a way of getting that off. There we go. Now as you can see, those ends look really sharp compared to these, and they just fluff up. If you want them more fluffy, you can do. If you comb them, as you can see, with each strand it's twisted into 2 even thinner strands. If you wanted to, you could really brush them out and really fluff them up. I quite like being able to see the different threads. And I would say that's enough for me now. I don't want to take too much off. And I want them all to be the same length when I do the other 2 here. Now I'm going to show you a quick way of getting all of this fluff off. I'm just going to grab one thing I haven't got actually. Oh, there we are. Here. Anybody recognise this? I think that's what's happening. Like it, we call them a lint roller. Let me come back out a bit more. Like a lint roller. So this is sticky, and you usually use them on clothes. You just roll onto your fabric, and it takes it all off. And we'll take all the little bits off there. And if you haven't got one of these, you can just use some sellotape. Let me get some sellotape or some tape and show you that way. Let's use this one. I haven't got sellotape here with me, but I've got this Scotch tape, like a masking tape. So let's make a mess again. Let's cut a bit on here. So if you haven't got one of the lint rollers, do not worry. You can just use a little bit of Scotch tape like this. And you just press on your fabric. And it all sticks to there. It's a great idea. There we are. It just tidies it up for you and keeps all those bits of fluff away. So there we go. That's the lovely pink flowers. There. And I was wondering, shall we go with bullion knots next? I'm going to show you one more flower today. Bullion knots or the padded daisies. Which would you like? I'll go with the first answer. And if nobody chooses, I will choose in 3. Bullion! Oh, okie dokie. Bullion knots, here we go. Now, bullion knots are one of my favourites. I love them. I think they can be difficult. Bullion as well. Martha's done that on purpose because she knows this is one that could go wrong. They're not easy to do. Bullion as well. Oh my gosh. Right, okie doke. We're going with bullion knots. You devils. And we're going here. So, as you can see, we'll go with this smaller one here to show you first. This is how it's marked out. And this is what this smaller one's going to look like. So that's got 2 bullion knots in there. And I'm just going to refer back to the pattern and make sure that I am telling you exactly how many wraps to do 14. Okay. Sometimes you can go a little bit rogue. And in the actual booklet, let me see if I can show you this. I've got it on my iPad. I'm not sure if I can show you. So this is the booklet on my iPad. And you can see on the bullion knots one, I have actually put you a QR code to watch. I think it's a video on Pinterest. This is one that's actually going viral at the minute. A bullion knots tutorial on Pinterest. So you would literally scan that with your phone. That is inside the booklet, and these are the pages that are in there. Okay. Plug that back in so I can see. And then we also have the stitch guide. I'll show you this on here as well. So I try not to print out too much. So on the cow parsley, 6 strands of DMC 866, and then 4 strands of the DMC 92 or any other green, 4 strands of the DMC 745, which is this lovely yellow colour here. Okay. Bullion knots. Here we go. So I'm going to pull a nice length off. Hi, Knit Swift. Was it today that you were enjoying the comfy, clean house, tidy house? Here we are. So I'm going to put that there. This is the one that we're doing here. So we're going to do these 2 longer lines here. Okay. I'm going to zoom in so that you can see closely. I'm going to lift it up just a little bit so that I can get my hands right underneath. There we go. So we are going to go at this end first. I'm going to come down at this end. And I'm not going to pull it all the way through so it's flat. I want to keep a length on the loop there. Okay. I'm going to bring my needle back up at the starting point, which is here. And I'm going to wrap my needle around, my thread around my needle 14 times. Now, we can count to 14. If we were to go over 14 and we wrap too many times, we can just lie the needle down to make sure it's the length that we want it to be. So we'll go with 14. If there's too many, we can take some off. If there's too little, we can add some more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think 6 would be all right for this one. It's 14 for these ones, 6 for this one. Okay, so once you've got your wraps on your needle, you're going to hold them with your non-stitching hand, the hand that you don't hold your needle with. And then we're going to pull our needle through. Okay, that little pull. As I do it, I like to just twiddle around with the twists to make sure that I can pull the needle through. I'm holding them down. I don't want them to travel up the thread. I'm going to pull. Okay, you can see them on there. I'm just going to make sure that they are all the way down. And then as you pull your thread through, the loop that you had initially is going to shorten. Okay, so I'm going to pull the thread, making sure that those loops keep the tension on there. Too tight and you can't pull through, and too loose and they're going to be too baggy and they're not going to lie flat. Keep pulling. Okay, then as we get to the end, you can see it's a little bit shorter, so I'm going to use my needle to pull through. Keep pulling, so all that slack has been taken away. My needle, I'm just pushing those little twists down, and then I'm going to stitch down to secure them, and they will sit on top of the work like that. I'm not going to lie, I've got a sweat on. That was nerve-wracking, but we're going to do another. So we're going to come back down to the bottom again. And remember, we did 6 on this one. In the pattern, it's 14, so that would be for this bigger one here. We're going to pull our needle up, pull the thread through, I'm just going to smooth the threads down because we've got a little twist going on here and I want it to be as smooth as possible. Okay. I'm going to stitch down to the marked end. This is the bit we're going to fill with our bullion knot. Pull down, and I'm going to keep that loop, remember. Okay. Needle back up at the base, and we're going to wrap 6 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and those are our little wraps. So again, it's all in the tension, a bit like French knots and a bit like colonial knots. It's all in the tension because if it's too loose they're going to be baggy. Okay, so at this point we're going to pull our needle through. You want to hear that pop? It's just popped off here. Let's tie this back on a little bit. Oh, now this is tricky because it's just come off the stand and I'm holding a bullion knot. I've done it. Okay, so we're going to pull that length of thread through, constantly looking at the tension on those little wraps, okay? We can take our time, there's no rush, don't rush it through. Take your time. I think I can hear one of the dogs trying to get in again. It must be Hazel. Bless her, she just gets so anxious when she can't see me. Okay, I've got a little bit twisted at the back there. There we are. It's okay to drop your needle if you need your other hand to help, just as I did there. One minute, Hazel. There we go. So we can see there's the loops on there. I'm going to keep holding. And then I want to just use my needle as I pull that through. Pull, pull, pull. We've got that in place and we're going to stitch down. And we've got that there. How does that look? Can you see that okay? Does that seem doable? I feel like you can do that. Just take a little bit of practice. But bullion knots are, they're so good. I love bullion knots. I love any type of, I love the texture of hand embroidery. I love a flat piece as well because I do love the ones that are like thread painting. I love the smoother pieces, but I do love a 3D piece of hand embroidery. Okay, so as you can see here, we're working on this little flower. Okay, and we've got these two here. So we're just going to do a little lazy daisy at the side, so it looks like the little outside of the bud where the flowers come from. If it's okay, I'm just going to let Hazel into the room because she's going to keep scratching and she'll hurt her paw. Come on. Come on. Come on, Helen. Good girl. I know. Come on. Did you miss me for all of 5 minutes? Okay, so now we're going to thread our needle. I'm going to zoom out. Be a good girl. Okay. So again, we're using 4 strands. I've got 2 here. I'm going to thread it through my needle and then double it over. So I'm actually stitching with 4. So 2 on either side. Knotted at the end. And then I will stitch with the 4. Okay. So we are going to add a little detached chain or lazy daisy, depending on what you call it, at the side. Another loop, stitch up and into the loop and catch it there. And stitch down. And again on this side. So for those that have just joined, this live is to support the country view kit and PDF that's available on my website. The kit and PDF are enough on their own. This is just an added little bonus so that I can show you how to do some of the stitches as well. Sometimes seeing them in action helps. Sometimes just having a look at what other people are stitching or how other people stitch is a good way. And sometimes it's just nice to join together on a sunny Saturday. It's lovely and sunny today. Cloudy but sunny. It's very warm. I'm just going to sit in with a brew, you know, while people are stitching. I love doing community stitching. There we go. So then you would do the split stitch all the way down. I'm going to finish that one there because I'm going to show you how we're going to do our French knot at the top. And we've just got one on this flower. So as you can see, on these, there is a French knot on top of each bullion knot. But I found on this one, because it's just a small flower emerging, just wanted to add one. So we're going to add a little French knot on top of here. To finish it off. So here we are, we start here. And 1, 2, 3, let's go with 3 because I should have 4 strands in there and I've got 3, but I'm going to go with a slightly bigger one. More wraps. And there's our lovely French knot to finish off the cow parsley. Oh, that looks really cute. There we are. So let me just double check what time we're on. I've got about 5 minutes left. And I said I would go live tomorrow. So I'm going to do a second part tomorrow where I will show you how to do... Let's go with the padded flowers. Those take a little bit longer, so we'll do a little tutorial tomorrow on the padded flowers. They feel gorgeous. Let me see if I can tip it that way so you can just see the depth on those. And they're just filled with hollow fibre. Absolutely gorgeous, and they feel so nice. There we go. And we've got a tiny little sheep in the background. I think this is one of my favourite kits. And then we've got gorgeous bluebells here as well. If we have time tomorrow, I'll show you the bluebells. It is Easter Sunday, so I know a lot of people have plans, but this will be saved in the embroidery circles for ease for the subscribers. If you're a subscriber, you do get access to the embroidery circle pages on my website. You can also buy this kit as a standalone kit. You don't have to subscribe. But yeah, if you subscribe, you do get access to the exclusive pages on my website. Last month, I did give you a free template. This month, I might pop another one in there, actually. I think that might be quite nice. So, yes, I will see you tomorrow for the yellow padded flowers. And we'll throw a bluebell in there as well. Thank you so much for joining me today. Enjoy the rest of your day or evening, dependent on where you are. And I will see you tomorrow. Live at 5 tomorrow on Easter Sunday. See you later.